All right. We have a great group of folks to share with you this morning. Two of them are responsible for me being here. Past chairs of the Chamber Board and also, on that interview panel that chose to have me come over to North Augusta. So I'm very grateful for them over these past 5 years. We're going to get started this morning with Ms. Michelle Bennett with S&B CPA. She's a partner, has been with S&B CPAs for about 17 years. And is also a graduate of Augusta University. So let's give a round of applause for Michelle Bennett.
Good morning. I really worked this week to try to figure out how to make accounting interesting for all of you guys. I don't know that that's possible, but I'll do my best this morning. I did want to give y'all some small business accounting and tax tips. It's Small Business Month, and that's the Chamber's focus, and so that's what, if these tips aren't able to help you, maybe you know somebody that you can pass them along to. So. Obviously, small business owners wear many hats. They serve as from human resources, marketing, customer service, planning and development. They are their own technology people, legal, and then they're doing their own accounting and finance. So it's really important to get the back office basics of your small business together when you start to form your business. It helps you organize your revenues, your expenses, and costs, and keep yourself out of the weeds with paperwork as you build your business. One of the first things you do as you're starting your business is you look at the choice of entity that you want for your business. There's lots of choices. And they have both tax and non-tax aspects to it, but it's important that you go through these with one of your advisors and make sure that you're selecting the right thing for your business, because as businesses grow and become more dynamic, some of these might have a better focus for you than the sole proprietorship, which is probably the easiest. It files on a Schedule C, but you might want to think long-term, and an S-Corp might be your best bet so that you can help with self-employment taxes later on as you grow. So it's always a good idea when you start your business to check with your attorney and your accountant to see what would be best for you. That lovely topic of accounting. The first thing that you need to do with your accounting is get organized. This can be applied to both your personal finances and a business. Develop a filing system for your records, accumulate your business-related activity. If you have nothing better, you can at least use an envelope system. Keep your business and personal finances separate. I can't stress that enough. That's one of probably the biggest challenges that we as accountants get when we are preparing tax returns at the end of the year is individuals that have commingled their records between business and personal. So I always recommend that you create a separate business account for your organization. Do not mix it with your personal account. I know there's lots of bankers in the room that would be happy to help you with that. There's business credit cards that you can get and even earn rewards and such as you're doing your spending. Track every expense. It's very important that you track your expenses and categorize them so that you're filing an accurate return at the end of the year. Accurately record deposits. That sounds really easy, but if you're just putting everything in the bank and giving it to your accountant at the end of the year and assuming that they know what that deposit was for, then you might end up overstating your income. If you got a loan during the year and you deposited it to your bank account, how does your accountant know that if you haven't communicated with them? In addition to loans, if you're injecting your own money into the company, you want to make sure that that's being recorded so that your investment in your company is accurate. Understand when it pays to pay. If you don't have a good knowledge of accounting, sometimes it might be best to outsource it. Dedicate time every week to updating your books. Keep them updated because that's the best way to track your cash flow. Keep track of your labor costs. Expect major expenses as you go along with your business. You're going to have expenses for upgrading computer equipment and such, and so you need to plan ahead and have something set aside for those types of expenses. If you've got a business that has inventory, you need to make sure that you're maintaining accurate inventory records. This is very important so that you're calculating your expenses correctly at the end of the year. We always suggest that you perform periodic inventory counts, but it's really great to do that at the end of the year. Follow up on your invoices and receivables. that it's real easy to get those receivables out, and sometimes it's harder to make that phone call to collect them. That helps your cash flow, helps you forecast your cash flow, and you want to make sure that you are following up because you deserve to be paid if you've done the work for someone. There's lots of accounting software that you can use to help organize your business. QuickBooks is one of the most popular ones that we see, and you can track your revenue and expenses throughout the year, and it just helps you keep on track and at any point in time of where your business is. Using software can also help you do it in a faster manner. It's gone mobile now. You can do invoicing from your phone. You can email invoices directly to your clients and have them pay through that email so that it goes straight into your bank account. So you're getting your money faster. QuickBooks will process your deposits and payments for you, and that means you're going to get that money faster and increase that cash flow. And this is some more of the mobile apps. Y'all probably seen Square. I don't know what it is when I go through Chick-fil-A, but they're definitely right there with your little mobile phones, scanning it as I go through the drive-thru. You can approve accounts payable and stuff over the phone too, through a mobile app. And your bank feeds can definitely be set up to go straight into your accounting software and help you classify things. The apps allow for the convenience, and they don't tether you to your desk. No matter what software you choose, or if you're tracking it manually, it's just very important that you keep your records up to date, keep those bank accounts reconciled so that you know what your cash is. If you're not reconciling, you have no idea what's really going on with your business. Payroll taxes are probably one of the biggest issues that we see with clients, where you'll get a notice. I recommend using payroll software or even outsourcing it to a third party. Using payroll software allows you to calculate your payroll on make sure that your tax deposits are calculated accurately. And it can ensure that those tax calculations are correct so that you avoid tax penalties. That's probably, the IRS is really quick to let you know if you filed something wrong on that payroll tax return. That's because payroll taxes are withholding your employees' money in addition to your own. Set an annual budget for your business. Make sure that you stick to it. A budget is not any good if you're not paying attention to it. If you're using QuickBooks, you can import your budget into your QuickBooks and look at it on a monthly basis and see how your business is progressing. Research. Know certain metrics about your business. What's important for your business? One of my favorite shows that I watch is Bar Rescue. I don't know if any of y'all have seen that. I discovered it about a year ago, and I think I'm addicted to it. But if y'all aren't familiar with it, John Tapper goes into these failing bars, and he looks at them, and he looks at their records and everything, and he knows immediately what should their labor costs be, what should their food costs be, what should their alcohol, beverage costs be, as compared to their revenues. So what metrics are important to your business? Benchmark yourself against other businesses that are like yourselves and see if you're measuring up, and if not, what do you need to do to make that happen for yourself? Once you start to grow, you start to depend on other people within your business, and so it's really important that you get internal controls established. Sometimes when you're first starting out, you might be the only one, and you're wearing a lot of hats, and you're doing everything for yourself, and then you might bring in a bookkeeper to do some things for you. And it is important as a business owner so that you feel like your records are secure, that you're maybe divvying up the processes so that you do have some checks and balances in place. And I don't know if y'all can really read that. It's kind of small. That's for a 2-person office. There's some suggestions for a 3-person office. And then I have suggestions for a 4-person office. And I could actually, if anybody wants that hard copy, I don't think it's on your table, but I can always email that to you, and I think my card's on your thing. So if y'all just want to let me know, I can email that to you. Wanted to go over some important tax tips for small businesses as well. Take advantage of the home office deduction if you are able to. You can use the home office deduction even if you don't own your own home. If you're renting, you can still take a home office deduction. There's 2 different methods that you can use. There's a simplified method, and then there's a method where you're using actual expenses, and it gets allocated based on the percentage of your office that you're using. The key to using that home office deduction is that needs to be the principal place of your business. You can't have a business office somewhere else and then also take a home office deduction. There are rules attached to that, so you would want to check with your preparer regarding that. This is probably something that most people are not doing, but they're using their mileage. Track it and have substantiation for it. You want to make sure that you keep records of the mileage that you're using for your business. You get, this year, 2017, it's 53.5 cents for your mileage. Some of you reimburse your employees for mileage. So you want to make sure if you're reimbursing them that they're providing you substantiation so that you have that backup if the IRS comes calling. And they do sometimes, and they want to see that backup. There's apps that will let you do that. Mileage IQ is one that I've heard is really good, but there are others as well. Keep track of your meals and entertainment. This is most meals and entertainment are 50% deduction, but there are some that you can use to as 100% deduction. If you're providing meals for your employees in your office for the convenience of the employees, that's something we do during tax season when people are working late. We bring dinner in. That's 100% deductible. You're not subject to that 50% limitation on those types of meals. The Section 179 deduction, I don't know if y'all heard of that. I mean, most people have, but Section 179 allows you to write off equipment in the year that you purchase it, rather than having to put it on your balance sheet and amortize it over the life of it. So Section 179 is something that is a good idea if you're going to have income this year. And you know you've got some future equipment purchases coming up. You know, make those before the end of the year and use Section 179 to write that off. Consider establishing a retirement plan for your business. Retirement plans are a great benefit for your employees. They allow you a deduction on your tax return, and then they also allow you to save for retirement as well. So establishing that retirement plan will make a big difference on your tax return. File your returns timely and make your payments timely. This includes payroll tax returns and sales tax returns. Be aware of your due dates and make sure you're meeting them, because that's where you're going to see the most penalties. And lastly, Paul mentioned it earlier, plan ahead. Meet with your tax advisor before the end of the year so that you can maybe implement some of these things, because after the fact, it's harder to get things done. So if you can do it before the end of the year, that's going to be your best bet. I guess John's coming up next.
Here.
Good morning. I'm John Dawkins. I'm the owner-operator of the Chick-fil-A franchise here in North Augusta. And I'm grateful to be here with you this morning to talk about great customer service, and particularly how that relates to small business. So at Chick-fil-A, everything we do really starts with this statement. This is our corporate purpose. And it says to glorify God by being a faithful steward of all that is entrusted to us, and to have a positive influence on all who come in contact with Chick-fil-A. And to me, that really says that everything we do centers around people. And this statement was compelling enough for me that as a 15-year-old, Chick-fil-A was my first job. And when I graduated college, it became my first full-time job. And now, many years later, I think I can say with confidence that I will retire having only worked for one company in a full-time capacity. So this statement means a lot to me. But at Chick-fil-A, we're known for service. And I think we do a lot of things well. I think we have great food, we have clean restaurants, we're fast. We do a lot of things well, but the thing we're known for the most is our service. And I'm not just saying that. Our customers are actually the ones that have told us that. This is a picture of our Cow Day, which maybe some of you have participated in the past. This is a screenshot just of customer comments, and if you're my age or older, you probably can't read any of that on the screen. But the reason that's up there is because most of these comments, almost every one of these comments, has to do with our service or our people. Maybe some of you have participated in our surveys, you've taken our survey, and we ask you to leave comments. But all of these say, you know, the service was great, the people were nice, the people were polite. Maybe they even mentioned specific employees by name. I'm going to highlight just one of these comments that's up here at the top of the screen. It says, I eat in this restaurant at least twice a week when in town. Food is great, but I've come to expect that no matter where I go. What sets this store apart are the employees. All employees are courteous and eager to help make your visit a positive experience. So what we figured out, first of all, at Chick-fil-A is that being nice doesn't cost anything. And I think that relates really well to small business because the budget is smaller. You know, my first Chick-fil-A opportunity was in the Aiken Mall. And this was back in 2001. And I don't know how many of you have been in the Aiken Mall, but when I was there, there wasn't a whole lot going on. We had, if I remember right, 18 employees, my wife and I, and about 16 high school and college age kids. That was the entire staff. And every customer mattered. And a lot of times that's because there was only one customer. We really were able to focus on that customer. But I was able to transfer that to my current business. We were able to move to North Augusta in 2003 and opened the restaurant on Knox Avenue. And so now, you know, revenues in that restaurant are 10 times what they were in my mall restaurant. We have more than 90 employees. But I learned a lot about what it means to take care of a customer by doing it on that small scale. So let me give you just a few ideas that we use at Chick-fil-A about customer service. So this term, strategic bet, was coined by our Chief Operating Officer at Chick-fil-A. His name is Tim Tsoukalos. And this is his definition of that. He says a strategic bet is a disproportionate investment of targeted resources that has the potential to change the growth trajectory of a business or organization. So what I want you to know based on this statement is that great service at Chick-fil-A is not by accident. It's on purpose. We spend a lot of time, a lot of resources. We make a big investment in this because we feel that it's the differentiator in our business. We feel that great service is what sets us apart from our competition. And I actually feel like service can do that in any industry and in any business. You know, we think people can copy our products because they have. Some of you may know that Chick-fil-A invented the chicken sandwich. Nobody put a boneless breast of chicken between two pieces of bread until we did it. But now you can't go to any restaurant without that being on the menu. We invented chicken nuggets. Nobody had boneless chicken nuggets before Chick-fil-A. But now most restaurants have that. So people can copy our product, people can copy our processes, but we don't feel like people can copy our great people and the service model that we have. So at Chick-fil-A, we've made a strategic bet on service. I actually want to expound on that a little bit more and tell you how we've done that. So we spend a lot of time and effort and money in finding great people. And hopefully you guys have noticed that. You know, the two biggest questions I get from anybody that comes and talks to me, whether I'm in the restaurant or out in the community, both questions are centered around people. The first one is, how do you get those people to say my pleasure? And the second question is, where do you find such polite, engaging young people? Because we didn't know there were any of those around anymore. So those are the two biggest questions that I get, and they center around people. But we spend a lot of time and effort in finding great people. You know, we get hundreds of applications a month. We do dozens of interviews. We do several second interviews, and we end up hiring one or two people. And we're looking for people that love to serve others. That's one of the main things we're looking for. We're not looking for experience. We're not looking for some of the traditional things you might think we would be looking for. We're looking for people that love to serve others. So we have made a strategic bet in the area of service. Let me talk about this slide value, we believe value equals what you pay versus what you get, versus what you pay. And the customer wants a big imbalance in their favor. So let me explain that a little bit. Because I think we do this as consumers, right? When you're going to purchase something, you either want a great value, you want to get a great product, maybe it's a premium product or a premium brand, or you want a great deal. A great deal generally meaning a discount. Well, the discount, that bottom line there, decreasing that I think is really dangerous for any business, especially for small business. And at Chick-fil-A, we've decided to focus on the top line. We want to increase the value of what you get instead of decreasing what you have to pay. And in that way, we can give you that big imbalance between the two. And I think that's a really healthy thing for any business. So let me illustrate how we do this. And hopefully some of you have been a customer. Actually, a lot of you have been our customers. I know that. I've seen you. So you know how this works. So you come into our restaurant and you order your food and you pay your $7 for your number one combo, and you actually get change back from that. And then you sit down at a clean table and the food's delivered quickly. And all of that is what you expected to get. You got what you paid for. But then a few minutes later, some nice employee comes by your table, asks if they can refresh your beverage, asks if you need anything else. They clear your trash away from your table. They do a few extra things to make your experience better. So what we hope is that when you get up and leave, what you're saying to yourself is, wow, I just got a full dining experience at a quick service restaurant and I didn't even have to leave a tip. We increased the value of what you got without decreasing what you had to pay. So some of those activities that I just described to you, we call them at Chick-fil-A second mile service, and that's what I entitled the presentation today, second mile service. And you know, the phrase going the extra mile is pretty mainstream. I think most people have heard that or used that phrase. A lot of people don't know that that phrase came from the Sermon on the Mount, Matthew 5, verse 41. And at Chick-fil-A, we've never been shy about the fact that we operate our business based on biblical principles. So what this verse says, it says, if any man asks you to go a mile, go with him 2. And I want to give you the short backstory about that verse. So in Jesus' time, the Romans were occupying the Jewish lands, and there was a law that said that if a Roman soldier, asked you to carry their stuff, asked a Jew to carry their stuff, they had to do that. They had to carry all of their stuff for a mile. At the end of that mile, they could drop it, their obligation was met, they could then go on their way. So what Jesus was saying when he said go the second mile, he was saying, what would it look like if you carried that stuff, if you met the obligation, and then you decided of your own free will to double that, to go beyond that, to carry it a second mile? What would that look like for that soldier? So we decided to carry that principle over to our service. What would it look like if we gave you everything you thought you should get, if you got your money's worth, but then we went above and beyond that and did things that you weren't expecting, that you didn't feel like you even paid for? What would that do for our level of service? So that's where second mile service came from. So I would challenge you to maybe get your wheels turning with your business. What are the second mile service activities that you could do in your business that would differentiate your business from your competitors? Because I think a lot of you are in industries where people can copy your goods and your services as well. So what could you do to set yourself apart in this area of service? So this is a plug for one of the ladies that works for me that is probably more well known than I am, which I think is a great thing. People see her more than they see me in my business. This is Shirley. She started with me August 7th, 2003, when we opened the doors, and she's been with me ever since. And show a few more of my team here. All except one. We actually tried to recruit him to the team. We got him behind the counter. He politely declined to join the team, but he was nice enough to take a picture with us. But anyway, this is my team. These are the ones who are giving that great service. And I started the presentation with Chick-fil-A's mission statement. I'm going to, with Chick-fil-A's corporate purpose. I'm going to end it with our mission statement. And that is, be remarkable, with the remark in quotation marks. So this is our primary business model, if you will. This is how we do most of our advertising. I mean, do we have TV commercials? Yes, we do. Do we come out with some new products to gain more customers? Yes, we definitely do that. But the biggest way that we build our business is we ask our team members to give great customer experiences, one guest at a time. We want our guest experiences to be remarkable. And what that means is we want you to remark about what happened at Chick-fil-A. We want you to remark about the fact that somebody was outside in the drive-thru when it was 40 degrees taking your order just so that it would be faster and more personable. You know, we want you to remark about the fact that somebody stopped by your table to see how you were doing. And we actually don't want you to remark about it to us. We want you to remark about it to each other. And in that way, we've been able to build our business in a way that I don't think even I, as an owner-operator, thought was possible. The growth has been just unbelievable over the past several years. And so I leave you with this today because, again, I think anybody can do this. If you're willing to make a strategic bet, if you're willing to put the time and the money and the effort into service, then any business, small or large, can be remarkable. Thank you.
Thank you very much for having me this morning. I'd like to thank Tara and the North Augusta Chamber of Commerce for allowing me to come in and talk about what I do. Thanks, Michelle, for taking me to church. Thanks, John, for bringing church to me. My name is Chris Rucker. I'm the owner and chief creative of a branding and marketing studio just over the river in Augusta called Kruhu. And what we do is, to some people, a little bit of a mystery. When you hear the buzzwords branding and you hear the buzzword marketing, lots of folks tend to take those words and relate them as they have been affected by them in business or in life in general. And it's our job to sort of peel back the onion of what that looks like. It's true, yes, my company, our services, the things that you see, are very visual. They're very innovative. Logo work, brochure work, book work, websites, digital marketing, the whole 9 yards. But what I want to talk to you today about, and this hopefully is something that's inspiring to you, because there's a lot of great brands in this room represented here. What I want to do is kind of give you this sense of brand awareness. And when you hear brand awareness, you think of my logo is consistently being placed on things and my name is out there and the word of mouth has carried me through this and through that. And that's all true, but that's all on the outside. And what I want to do is give you a little bit of a glimpse of what brand awareness looks like on the inside. And this really does apply to just about every brand out there, especially the smaller brands and smaller companies and newer companies. Our motto at Kruhu is to be contagious and courageous. Contagious in spirit, just like a yawn is contagious to anyone in the room. If I start yawning right now, like 3 or 4 other people start yawning, there's a contagious thing there that is unspoken, but you know there's a culture there that we've built that's contagious. You want to hang out with us. You want to be a part of this. You want our services. But we're also to be courageous. I mean, every single person that got up this morning muscled themselves out of bed because, it's comfortable. It's a little cold outside. Like, had a bit of courage to get up and do what you do. If you own your brand, if you're the owner, man, you had that courageous thought however many years ago or just last night to do whatever it is that makes the world go around. There's the courage to get up and support who you work for, to carry that torch through whatever time it is and through whoever you're servicing or whatever, product you're manufacturing. We all kind of have that contagious in spirit, courageous in nature mentality. And so brand awareness at its core, and this is what a company like mine tries to evoke, is let's get into the why you exist, and let's figure out how that relates and communicates within. And within creates a culture that ultimately brings quality of life to an optimum. I can't tell you how many times I woke, years ago, I'd go in to work and I would do the thing that I had to do, and then I would just go on home and then I'd do it again. And I realized that it wasn't because that's just what you do when you're in America and it's the American dream. There's a deeper connection there, and I figured out if I was able to really buy into the belief that this brand that I'm working for, is something that I also believe in, then I can take that brand to the next level. And we have so many different industries that come into our office. I mean, from food service to financial to health and wellness to rock stars to whatever it is, construction. I mean, everybody that has introduced themselves, I'm sure we've hit on your industry at some point, typically come in with, the notion that we can provide them with a solution to something. Whether it is, I'm hatching a new brand and I've got to look great, or I'm about to manufacture a new product and release it, or trends and innovation are kind of making my business do this and that, and we need to figure something out, or this new technology, the web, what's going on with that? There's so many different, pieces to some sort of reactionary puzzle that come into our business every day, and it's up to us to really sort of make sure that there is a connection between the brand that's sitting in the room and the solution that we offer. Because we can offer solutions all day long. I can create wonderful, my team, we can create wonderful things that look super fantastic. But if they aren't relating to who you are and what your brand is and what your brand is saying, then we have not done our job. And when it comes to marketing, the return on the investment between marketing firm and client is huge, especially in small business. You don't have the budget to do it. And you think that as a small business, if I go into a marketing firm like this, I'm probably not going to be able to afford it. And I think that mentality has to change a little bit. With any business that is represented in this building, somebody woke up and essentially birthed this idea, this service. That's important. If you have a sibling, or if you have a child, or if you know any other human beings on the planet, they were cared for very seriously throughout life to get where they are. And it's the same with a brand. A brand is not, doesn't consist of moving parts that count numbers and crunch this and think of ways to strategize this way and that way. Those are all components, but they're not what makes it work. What makes it work is the actual belief that this service or product or whatever is going to carry our mission. And so it's our job to kind of make sure that's happening. I mean, and it's no fault of any client that comes in that is not in tune with that, because you've got 1,000 hats on your head and you're just cranking away doing different things all day long, trying to just survive or exceed or succeed. And that brand that was birthed 10 years ago, last week, last night, kind of takes a back seat. And so we like to bring it into a little bit more of a psychological realm. Let's humanize your brand. Okay, so let's say Kruhu was, a human being and was sitting in the room with me. What would Kruhu say to me right now? And how would it relate to what we're doing to carry Kruhu to the next level? And so many times we see there's a little bit of a disconnect. If your brand was birthed 10 years ago and the last time you truly spoke with the core of your brand was 10 years ago, then you might have a slightly awkward 10-year-old that has been in a room for a while and may need to be, brought up to speed on how to react and talk and interact and socialize. And those are very important, very serious things that we have to consider before we even jump into something that is going to represent who you are, visually mark this brand, or on a campaign level, take you to this sort of level. It's all about the voice, and more times than not, we will have people that have struggled in that area and maybe not know, and it can be uncomfortable, and there's tons of times that we see raw emotion come out in this stuff, but what's encouraging to me is that there is this hope and this dream and these emotions that really sort of fuel the culture that builds who you are as a business and builds who you are as a brand. Don't think for a second that, hey, if I'm just working for so-and-so, I don't really amount to a ton. If you buy into the brand at the lowest of level to the highest of executive, you too can also have this vision to move forward and to have a better quality of life. I'm not saying you guys have a terrible quality of life. I'm just saying I've been there and I see it on a daily basis. And I think that the return on the investment typically from client to marketing to service can get a little jaded at times because there is a disconnect. So I encourage you guys really to, go out. If you aren't in tune with the brand that you're hanging out with and you've been hanging out with them for 10 years, that's okay. But I encourage you guys to get into that and really sort of, take ownership of that. It's always interesting to see the CEO of a team that's of 4 or a team that's of 900 rely on the CEO and the executives to make the wise choice and to make those decisions. And in a way, you're allowing the CEO to lead the brand and not the brand lead the CEO. And sometimes a CEO can not have the best idea or might need some help. So it's always great to have that sort of camaraderie there to kind of take it to the next level. And once you're there, that's when the fun happens. We can design great things and create great innovative pieces and parts to bring you up to speed and really kind of take you to the next level. But really what I wanted to do today was just sort of drop that sort of essence in that when you hear marketing and you hear branding, it's not just computer graphic design, it's not just a t-shirt design, there's a lot that goes into it, there's a lot of moving parts, and it starts with you and the relationship that you have to your brand.